the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing today, guys? Hey, what's going on? Bitcoin currently trading at $75,827.85. Dominance failed to break above 60 spectacularly, I might add. We are, however, back above 59.5, so another attempt could be in the works. Gold and silver recovered very nicely today. Gold basically returned to the mean, what I would call, and recoupled with the OG fractals. So let's see if that plays out. Silver also looking really good, $87.53. We seemingly ran into some resistance at 88. 8 is my favorite number, so that's has nothing to do with anything, but I figured I'd let you guys know. And it actually bounced off of my long level, which was kind of cool. Makes me feel important. Anyways, Bitcoin's chilling. I got a poll for you guys before we get going here. Tom Selleck said Morbla FCZ. Tython said he's live. Who made your intro song? Buddy Zach. From the Dawn community, actually. Tom Selleck said hit some likes. Should have bought more gold on that dip. I like silver, man. I'm a silver guy. Silver's more affordable. Let's see. Let's get the poll going on in the chat. Start a poll. We got 4 answers. Let's see. We've got. I'm not narrating them this time. Silver's for the poors. I know. That's why I like silver. And last one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, what do you think happens first? Pump, government reopening, and bullish ISM. Pump, it's just time. Dump, Warsh Hawk, no printing. Dump, it's just time. Those are available options. I guess if you have a different answer, you can feel free to type it in the chat. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Our ISM chart finally updated, which is awesome. Officially. Bam. Look at that beauty. About damn time. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I suspect within the next week or so, we should see the ramifications of this. I'm assuming. Maybe not. Who knows? But we did chart every single time Bitcoin has significantly, spiked, was a spike in the ISM, a consistent spike in the ISM. And obviously the previous bull markets, we're fully aware of that. So I'm excited. But as of right now, 75,800, the monthly candle, clearly red. 4 hour just flipped red, 75,766. Liquidation heat map on the 12-hour time frame zoomed in. We are liquidating some bulls. We've got 75,247. We've got, I'm going to go, well, all the way down here, actually. Let's go right here. 71,664. And then up top, we have 77,111. And then the tippity top of the top, I'm going to go right here. 79,763. All right. Cool. So let's see what's going on. This red was unexpected, to say the least. Big fat red bearish engulfing candle, essentially. Was not expecting that. But I have not traded in ages, so I didn't really care. I actually didn't even notice. What's nice is that the alts didn't really seem to care either, which I believe is why dominance took such a big beating today. I was quite surprised about this as well. So altcoins are officially fighting back for liquidity. Bitcoin is up 0.1% since the daily close, 75,835. We got a attempt at the moving average on the RSI. Technically, looks like it's setting up a inverse head and shoulder, which will be interesting. Maybe we get one of those, and then the price just goes bananas. No one's going to be expecting. Everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin unexpectedly pumps. That's what I'm suspecting right now. We do overread that in momentum weight point at the downside and negative money flow. So we'll see if anything comes of that. Personally, I think next couple of days, number go up. Top stock scouts at alts didn't care because, let's be honest, how much lower can they go without being literal zero? Yeah, I think the people left holding alts are deceased. Not for any reason other than the fact that they've been holding alts for so long that they actually died of old age. Which, I suppose, it's like a burn mechanism. A death mechanism, if you will. Alright. Let's see. What's next? ETH up 0.71% on the day, currently trading at 22.49. Holding above 22.50 would be ideal. I like that we bounced off of our purple level here, 21.10, I guess. We'll just call it 2100. This is a trend line. What is this in regards to, though? Ooh, that goes all the way back to 2020. Very nice. So this trend line actually includes last bull market. Nice little trend line. We got a fake out below it once already. Can we get another one? Or are we going to bounce off of it this time and continue to the upside? Use that as a bullish catalyst. Obviously, time will tell. What's nice, see, here's the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin is sitting below the moving average on its RSI. ETH is above, but it does still have that potential inverse head and shoulder setup. It's fugly, so do with that up what you will, but I like it. And I'm still kind of expecting some upside here. A lot of people are losing faith, they probably see this red candle and they're like, oh, that's it, it's confirmed. Bitcoin's dead. Gold and silver are pumping again. Time to ape into gold and silver. I believe there's just endless articles now telling people to get into gold and silver. And the banks are probably, I'm just throwing this out there. What if, we're going to go tinfoil for this one. This one definitely requires the tinfoil. What if the banks are moving from their silver and gold into Bitcoin and they need you to buy their silver and gold because they don't want to dump the price, obviously, but they also don't want to just be stuck holding it. So they get you to think that Bitcoin and crypto are just going to go to zero and you should rotate into gold and silver. And then they sell their gold and silver. They're like, oh, the supply crunch and like you need it for AI and solar energy and stuff and electric cars. And you go, oh, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. So you sell all your crypto You sell all your Bitcoin. You go buy gold and silver because for some reason you weren't diversified. You should be diversified. I can't stress it enough. Diversify your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I'm not a financial advisor, so do with that as you please. They want you to sell your crypto, buy their gold and silver, so that they can use your money now to buy all of the Bitcoin that you just put on sale for them. Kind of a genius plan if you think about it. They pump everything except for crypto. You go, oh my gosh, I'm getting out of this crypto crap. And then you go buy all the stuff that they're pumping, which is then their exit liquidity to rotate into crypto. Then they pump up crypto, and then you're like, oh my gosh, while your stocks and precious metals are near like the bottom, you're down 90%. You sell all that, and then you buy the top of crypto. Rinse, repeat over and over again. It keeps happening. They, out of nowhere, just created another liquidity extraction mechanism. I'm just saying. Okay. Gold looks beautiful. $5,042. $41.29. Recoupled with the fractal. Very nice. Are we going to continue up from here? Honestly, I mean, I love the fractal. The fractal looks great. Return to the mean. A slow grind up. I mean, there's a reason this price action played out in the past. Because that's the way that money moves. So we'll see. We got the hand-drawn one as well. Support target option 1 was 42.50. We stopped way above that at 44, essentially. 43.81. I'm just going to call it 44. We moved down to 44. So that looks good. The wick is indicative of some buying pressure. People scooped up the gold dip. And again, it returned to the mean. You got this epic pump, epic dump. And then the middle of that is literally where the price went back to. So it's there's mathematical equations, sine, cosine, tangent, all that junk. Nobody cares. If it was a sound wave, it would make sense. But it's not. It's a chart, so it's going to continue to go up, probably over time. You got a bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI, which did reset very nicely at that pullback. That bullish cross came at about here, in between those two candles, and have since continued to the upside. Green dot on the momentum wave pointed to the upside as well on Market Cipher. Not sure if that's relevant, but we talk about it anyways. Solana up 0.08 since the daily close. We are back below, actually. We have officially closed a 4-hour candle. Breaking. We have officially closed a 4-hour candle below the lower. Hit him with the Pythagorean theorem. Oh man, we have officially closed. Dude, we gotta make some Terrence Howard merch. That'd be so good. We closed below the lower trend line on Solana. I don't know if this is gonna get really bad, really spicy. No clue, honestly. I would love for the daily to get above that. Did we close? Yeah, I mean, we clearly closed below it back here, and that didn't really matter too much. And it was a bull flag. Was it? No, it was a descending broadening wedge, not a bull flag. Descending broadening wedge. That broke bullish eventually, but everyone was doom and gloom back here. And, you know, the price went up and hit $250 off of, what? $100 low. So 2.5x, that's pretty crazy. Alex Scott said, Sol is a hot turd. Oh, man. So yeah, $98.06. Are we going to get back above, or are we going to fake out below, or are we just going to plummet from here? Because technically, I don't know, man. Certain assets are at their bear market lows. Solana's not one of those assets. But we do have a trend line here. Are we going to pull down to this trend line? It would be crazy. And then maybe have to wait until 2027. That'd suck. But you never know. You never know. Trend line's there. Price action's there. What happened back here? There was a trend line here too. See, this is what spooks me. Are we gonna go like down here and then boop and then go up? Like a little fake out below? If Solana gets under $50, I'm buying a lot. Maybe it'll all go to zero. I don't know. I am a degenerate gambler after all. But the bullish ISM has never failed in the past. I have no reason to believe it'll fail now. I think the 4-year cycle is kind of a meme at this point. But so far, it's proving that I'm the meme because it's playing out. We got a bearish cross over the moving average on the RSI. Also setting up that potential inverse head and shoulder. Keep an eye on that. That's a big one because that could play out any moment now. Price, a little wishy-washy. But that RSI definitely has that triple bottom inverse head and shoulder going on. Red dot in the momentum wave point to the downside and negative money flow. Total 3 up 0.29% on the day. This has potential to be a fugly inverse head and shoulder. RSI holding that moving average as support. Also inverse head and shoulder vibes here too. Are we going to continue to the upside? It looks entirely possible. There's definitely some buying pressure. A little bit of selling pressure with that wick right there, but so far so good. We'll see if we end up touching this lower trend line or if we end up going down to 711. Other than that, red dot in the momentum wave, holding that RSI moving average. ADA is up 1.37%, currently trading at 29.57. ADA, this wick right here, 26.91, that was bear market lows, man. That was bear market lows. No, it wasn't. I think bear market bottom was like 24.97 or maybe even 24, who knows. But it got pretty down, pretty far down there. The wick, ooh, this is interesting. The wick, the Binance wick. They probably don't want to call that. What's Binance? Binance is yellow. Let's go to the daily. See if it goes lower. Okay, no. So that is the bottom of the Binance wick. Binance wick low 2622. All right, let's go back to the 4-hour. 2622. Boop. All right, 2622. The Binance wick low is 2622. Are they going to fill that wick? Because ADA is listed on Binance. I'm going to call it the Binance wick. October 10th. October 10th, Binance wick. CZ is watching this right now. He's like, damn it. Anyways, 29.62. Let's see if we fill that wick. We are in a ascending channel, so the potential to break to the downside increased just because of that. RSI is bouncing off that moving average. We do got the inverse head and shoulders here too. It's a little fugly, a little more fugly than the other ones. Red dot in the momentum wave point to the downside, but smack dab in the middle. Money flows negative. We got the confirmed green dot back here. I'm pretty sure that's invalidated now. Are we going to recover or continue to the downside? Time will tell. Tom Selleck's code said, did I mention FCZ? Guys, we got record low numbers today. Dang. I don't know what happened all last week and yesterday even. We had great numbers, great numbers. Today, nobody gives a poop. I don't blame him. SNEC is up 2.11% on the day, currently trading at 0.00054. High, or up, not high, up from the low of 427. Quite a bit still. Looking good. We did get a bearish cross over the moving average in the RSI. The structure for inverse head and shoulders not quite here, but I think that's because we got that big, beautiful spike. We got a red dot in the momentum. We put on the downside here. Midnight up 1%. This thing has to recover, man. It looks like crap. Especially with this. This is a lot of downside right there. A lot of downside. Where's my money? I literally can't read that anymore without reading it exactly like that. What an iconic event. Avalanche up 1.01%. Struggling right here. Just like everything else is. We got nice wicks. I like the wicks a lot. I really do. The wicks are indicative of some buying pressure. We got them back here, though, so I guess they're not law. But I would love to recover here. The volume looks desolate. It's a little bit better than it was before, but it's still pretty bad. Bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI, seemingly bouncing off of that moving average as well. Green dot in the momentum wave point to the upside. We do still have our confirmed green dot on market cipher back here. Right here. I'd say that that's still technically in play because we could... Like, this whole bottoming structure could skyrocket to the upside. TNT Media 1010 has said, feels good. Jesus, the Lord's money is back. Gold and silver. Let's see. Gold and silver do look good. I'm going to look at them after I look at Chainlink, which is currently trading at $9.64, up 1.48% on the day. Avalanche is back above 10. Chainlink still below, struggling to get back above. We got wicks indicative of some buying pressure. One recent wick indicative of some selling pressure. We'll see what that turns into. RSI sitting above that moving average, kind of technically trying to hold it as support. And we got a green dot in the momentum wave point to the upside with negative money flow. Volume looks decent. It's increased, kind of like Avalanche, that little spike, but it's still, it could be better. Avalanche volume looks a lot more consistent than Chainlink. Gold, though, man, gold is just impressive. Currently trading at 5,044 and 86 cents. This thing recovered beautifully. I honestly had no worries at all. The spike down, I don't know, like the JP Morgan, who I like to refer to now as JP manipulation, closing their shorts right at the Pico low was a little too coincidental. I don't know if they want it to go up or if they're just going to let it play out. No clue. It was just weird, and I didn't think it was going to go lower. That's not me saying it's going to go up forever now. I don't think this is an asset worth trading on a short-term time frame. I would say this is a buy and hold thing. Is it going to revalue itself higher? Probably. How much higher? I have no clue. I remember like it was yesterday because it was literally like a year ago. What was the gold prediction for the next 2 to 4 hours? What's the gold prediction for the next 2 to 4 hours? I remember silver being like 23 bucks. Gold prediction next 2 to 4 hours. Ooh, I'm going to call 51.28 if we're going to continue to be green like this. 51.28. That RSI has plenty of room to the upside on the 4-hour time frame. We got a green dot on the momentum we put to the upside. A lot of momentum here. A lot of momentum. But it did just have a big fat green candle. Is it going to do 1, 2 like it did before? And yeah, I would call that 51.30. Let's go with 51.30. Again, just throwing it out there. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't leverage trade unless you're using my referral link. But if it's going to continue to go up, we have this. This is actually not a trend line at all. This is a measurement of what I thought the price was going to reach. I was trying to be frugal because my original measurement goes up to 58. And I thought that 58 was crazy. I was like, I don't think it's going to go up to 58 because that seemed like a really high number. We were all the way down here at 4K. I was like, 58 seems kind of crazy. That's a little bit of an outlandish, prediction. Lo and behold, we went to 56. Like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. And then this whole time, every time I looked at this one, because this was my frugal one, I was trying to be a little more calm about it, a little more tame. I was like, why does that seem like it's a trend line? Because back here, it's almost perfectly riding that trend line. I was like, that's not a trend line. That's just me guessing where the price is going to go. But the price likes my little trend line, I guess. The fractal Farquad strikes again. I accidentally created the fractal with a trend line. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm excited about it. I am. Volume's huge. Bullish crossover, the moving average and the RSI. There's really not much TA I can do on this. It's precious metals. Number go up. And if people want to sell it, the number go down. I guess the same can be said for anything. Technical analysis is subjective. So anyone that claims otherwise, I think, is full of crap. Manny Hood said, yep, I read that. Tom Silkscoat said it. My guy gonna get himself 6 SOL on that $50 div. Hell yeah. Pythagorean theorem. Oh boy, oh boy. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. We've been killing it. We got like 10 subscribers this week after like a dry spell, like a month-long dry spell. So I really do appreciate you guys sharing the channel and getting the name out there. We got 5 votes so far. If you guys could direct your attention to the poll in the chat, I asked you guys what happens first. We got pump, government reopening, and bullish ISM. Pump, it's just time. Or dump, Warsh Hawk, no printing. Dump, it's just time. Nobody has said dump, which is kind of awesome. However, crypto Twitter, or X, is incredibly bearish. And literally all the comments on all the YouTube channels, people insist that we are in a uber bear market. Everything's going to go down forever. And it's just time to give up, close up shop, and walk away. Oh my gosh, what is happening to altcoins? Bitcoin reclaiming its candle. Jeez. Manny said, do you have an AOI on gold? I do not. I don't actually know what that is. AOI on gold. I'm going to guess annual open interest. No, I don't know. What is an AOI? A automated optical inspection. I don't think that that's what it is. AOI. area of interest. Oh. Thank you. I guess. Is that like that's just a vague area where that I'm personally interested in for the gold price? I mean, 58. That's my big long-term target hit. Psychological levels for everything else, any kind of pullback or anything like that, it seems to just be going up only, which is incredibly impressive. I also like to point out current price at 5,054. Last time we were here was setting up a base for this move. That RSI was way up here in the 60s, almost above 70, which is overbought. It is now at 56, so it reset to an extent. You know, this move is fast, so RSI is almost overbought, but we've seen how long you can spend in overbought territory without anybody really giving a crap. People like precious metals pump in times of uncertainty, and I guess we're incredibly uncertain right now, I suppose. What was I doing? Gold, we talked about gold. Silver, currently trading at 86.88. This one, silver dumped way more than gold did, but silver's market cap isn't really as high. 19% on gold, silver top to bottom. That's so crazy. Silver top to bottom at 37, almost 40, almost twice as much. Yes, sir. Area of interest of buy to climb to around the 56, 58 range. To buy. I mean, see, I'm of the belief that these things are going to go up perpetually. Maybe not necessarily gold and silver. I actually don't know what's going to happen with the gold and silver trade right now. If I was trying to short to midterm trade precious metals, I don't think I would touch them. But I've made that mistake way too many times as well, where something runs really hot and I'm like, ooh, I don't really want to go anywhere near that. And it continues to run hot, and I miss out on so much more like potential gainage because I was trying to be too safe. So, but I don't want to lean to the opposite end of the spectrum and be a little too loosey-goosey with my money either. It's a mixed bag for sure. But with gold and silver, I'm holding what I have. And with silver, I did add to a long at 82. I feel like silver's a good trade, in my opinion. But I also thought that 77 was going to be the top way back here. It is interesting that we pulled back to that. So markets change, sentiment changes, your scope, your dynamic, your goals can be dynamic with the market. Obviously, don't flip-flop long-term macro points of view. That's annoying. But in short term, I don't know if they're going to continue to go up or if they're going to pull back. I really don't. I like all of the data coming out about the supply-demand shortage with silver. Gold, I feel like gold is literally just a store of value. It's like a safe haven to retreat to. Silver actually has use case. You know, gold does too, but how useful is it in reality compared to like silver or other alternatives? TNT Media said, do you feel like they're going to do the same thing like GameStop and AMC, taking away the buy and sell button? This is getting a little sketchy with Binance and Uphold today. Freezing? Shit, I don't know, LOL. That's why I like self-custody, man. And what's cool about gold and silver is you can buy physical as well, but it's not as liquid. That's what also sucks about that, which is where crypto comes into play. Even if it's down, if you're trading, you can buy and sell all day, every day. And what's really even cooler about that, well, what if they took it even a step further and shut the internet off? Jack Dorsey, the modern Satoshi, if you will. I don't think he's actually Satoshi, but I do like the coincidences around it. His BitChat is a wireless Bluetooth mesh network that does not require Wi-Fi at all. Peer-to-peer, person-to-person, that still allows you to transact Bitcoin, which is pretty sick. But I do think that there would still have to be nodes running, so I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe not. TNT Media said 50 countries of allies meet Trump tomorrow in DC for strategic minerals. Nice. Yeah, that's huge. I think that's going to be a big one. I guess my only concern is, are they going to do the same thing that they did with crypto? Because they have a strategic crypto reserve, and crypto's dumped since then. So that's a concern of mine. Do the same thing like GME and AMC. See, the difference with GameStop, AMC, and gold and silver is GameStop, AMC was a meme coin phase, essentially, or a meme stock phase, if you will. With gold and silver, those are like global assets, precious metals. It's a lot bigger. We're talking like a lot bigger of market share and a bigger group of people participating in these trades. So I think if they did do that, it'd be kind of crazy. The Binance stuff is very interesting to me. People are closing their Binance accounts now because of the whole CZ thing, the falling out of the CZ thing. He is scrambling, dude. He is scrambling. He's probably crapping his pants, scared right now. Manny said, so you're talking long buy positions on silver. Would you say the floor is around 82? Unfortunately, I'm never going to give a concrete answer because I have no idea. This thing could, drop to $50 tomorrow for all I know. I'm willing to bet a little bit of my own money at a long at $82, and that's just where my long happening. Actually, I opened a long, I think at 77-ish, and then it went up. Where did it go up to? Because I added to it. Maybe I opened the long right here and I added to it here. One of the two. My average is 82 right now on my position. And it is a 2x long on Robinhood, whatever the hell their 2x long ETF is or something like that. And it's just me being a degenerate because I don't want to actually sell any of my physical silver. trying to capitalize on it right now. What I like about the whole move though is obviously we have this monstrous climb, which is epic, and then that reset essentially. And let me do the same thing that I did earlier. We're at 86. Last time we were at 86 was right here. RSI was overbought. Now the RSI is sitting below 50. We're at like 43, 44. Same price. Overbought, 43, 44. So there's plenty of room for upside. I like to use the scaffolding analogy. Imagine you build scaffolding to work on the Burj Khalifa. Yeah, that would probably never happen, but you're building scaffolding, you're working on the Burj Khalifa. You build one single row of scaffolding all the way up. You get way to the top, it's really rickety, and you're going to fall and die. Which is what silver did. Silver built way up really fast, and then bam. So now you're down here, you're back on the ground, you are building out your scaffolding. You're building a better foundation of your scaffolding down here where you already started. So then when you put those two together, you have a nice foundation to build upon. Now you can build up, you can build a little more scaffolding right here. You got a little bit right here. And then you got that. That's your foundation. Think of it like that. If you go up too fast, you're going to fall. If you take your time, then you got plenty of time to build your scaffolding out. Your foundation gets nice and wide. It gets nice and safe. You get to the very top and you're safer, good to go. TNT said, with crypto ETFs and OTC now on main ones, can't they park the trades in dark pools and blocks, create synthetics, pretty much capping price like they did with gold and silver ETFs for decades? Probably. Honestly, with cryptocurrency and how it's basically just technology, it's software on software, they could probably do whatever the hell they want. They being like the powers that be, the Illuminati, the FBI, the CIA. We're getting into tinfoil hat territory. But yes, they could absolutely do that. They could do that all day. I have no doubt in my mind that places like Binance have done that and continue to do that. Maybe not maliciously. Maybe it's to make more money. I don't know. Who knows? I think the most innocent actor in the cryptocurrency space right now is Coinbase. They're trying to find regulation, and they're upfront. They're not like, oh, zero fees. They tell you, they're like, listen, when you want to on-ramp here, we're going to charge you like 5% because we need to make money, and they're making a shit ton of money. And that's all you do. You on-ramp there, and you go wherever you want. You can maybe keep it there. Trading on Coinbase is kind of psychotic because of how much money it costs, but that's why they have Coinbase Pro and stuff. Whereas Binance might do promotional things that like are a little shady, and they do the 0 fee, but there's a spread, and who knows, you know. And then they milk leverage markets and derivatives, and basically manipulate everything to take full advantage. The stuff that allegedly came out about Justin Sun is not surprising. We've talked about this with Ohm as well. Ohm was manipulated. They were basically selling like locked shares for half the price, and then they were taking that money, which is now that crypto of that money is now locked up for a year. But the money that they got, even though it's only 50% value of that, they use to pump the price up, which is basically they leveraged their entire market cap. And that's why, you know, someone who bought way the hell down low was able to one clip that thing and it dropped like 90% overnight because the creators or founders or whatever were like, oh my gosh, we can just keep doing this. And they got a little stupid, which again is literally what just happened with Binance and USDE. But we're not going to talk about that because that's allegations. TNT said, LOL, right? Good stuff, man. Lou versus Wall Street warned about crypto Godzilla. I'm scared with CZ right now and everyone like fleeing Binance. They're like, F this, we're gonna leave, because he seems like the kind of guy, like I loved what he did with exposing SBF and stuff, but I'm also terrified him in the most like mafia kind of way, where he would probably be like, well, I'm capable of crashing the entire system, and you guys are being mean to me, so I'm going to. You shouldn't have been mean to me, you know. Like some kind of weird only child syndrome kind of thing. TNT said, well, FTX tokens ape. The first one, not Citigroup, was 1-to-1 with the real AMC shares, then poof, gone, LOL. Yeah. Tom Sellerscott said, have I brought up FCZs yet? Where's my mother effing money? All right, guys, we got 6 votes on the first poll. I asked you guys, what do you think happens first? You guys answered, pump, it's just time, 67% of you. The other 33% said, pump, government reopening, and bullish ISM. We did get confirmation the government is reopening. I don't know if that's today or tomorrow, but it has been signed, I think, by the president. Don't quote me on that, though. It's been signed by all the slow working people, at least. Let's do another poll. What? What is the gold silver pump telling us? Safe haven rotation. Manipulation. Wool over eyes. Late to the party. And bull trap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the new poll in the chat. What is the gold and silver pump telling us? Safe haven rotation. People basically trying to flee speculation. What am I? Hold on. Manipulation. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So this one is where the banks are like, oh, crypto bad. You guys should buy gold and silver. And then you guys are buying actually the gold and silver that the banks are selling. And then the banks, because you're selling your crypto, the crypto goes way down. You buy their gold, the gold goes way up. And they get more and more money for their gold. Crypto goes down more and more. Then they come in with all their new cash now, and they buy all the crypto for really, really cheap. And your gold is just, you know, whatever price, gold and silver. That's speculation. That's the manipulation wool over your eyes. Late to the party, that's just people, you know, aping in, FOMOing, buying the dip. So at least they're waiting for some blood in the streets. Or is it a bull trap? I don't know. All right. Next, we've got, what do we got next? We talked about gold. We did not talk about silver as in-depth as I would like to. So silver, obviously, we talked about the scaffolding analogy. We got above 115, which, by the way, Saeed, one of our viewers, said 115 was going to be the top before a pullback. We hit 115, got a little bit over it, basically rejected 120, came plummeting back down well below 100. We held 70, I'm going to call it 75, and bounced off of that. Got back above 80, and let's see, we like rejected 88 and bounced off of 84. And we're now making a second attempt to get back above 88. If we can get above that, I would like to see us test 100 next to see if we can get above that. The U.S. ISM Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index printed above 50 for the first time since January 2025. Every single time this has done this, Bitcoin explodes. Bitcoin exploded here. This was when Bitcoin broke the previous all-time high from the last bull market. Bitcoin exploded here. This is the second peak, new all-time high for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin exploded here. This is the third peak. The current all-time high on Bitcoin was right here, September, October 2025. We are now currently in February 2026. This is the January print. So February, we might see some pretty insane bullish reaction out of crypto. If not, though, they being us, maybe retail, who knows? We might be waiting for February's print. March, would it be March 1st? Hold on, let me see. It would be March 2nd, that Monday. March 2nd, February, which hopefully is not affected by this BS government shutdown. 3 days suddenly affecting data releases. The JOLTS data is not coming out today. Who knows if it's going to affect jobs data again, making it so the Fed is basically blind and they're like, oh, we don't have to cut rates because everything's fine. Now, my concern here is every time we got above, we immediately went back below. Got above, immediately went back below. Are we going to do the same thing here? And if so, is it going to dip just below 50 and then come above it again? I don't know. It definitely looks like we're in like some weird slow grind back into expansion, which I think is the better way for society to be, if we're being completely honest. Have we ever seen anything like this in the past? It looks like 1990s, which, interestingly enough, I think that's what Warsh is basing his entire thesis off of, is the 90s Fed. There's the 80s. Yeah, this looks the most similar to me to what we're seeing now, just on a more muted scale. Interesting. All right, so let's I'm instead of pulling an actual fractal, I'm just going to draw this, and then we're going to copy paste my drawing. So we come out of it, go back in, out, bounce, final curve, and then back down. All right, so let's see what this looks like as a concept over our current levels. Would this be hump number 3, maybe? I don't know. There's really nothing I can do to make it look like it matches. That's what I mean. It's a lot more muted. Can I scale this? Is that an option? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? I think I'm crazy. Let me just draw a smaller version. Is this crazy? This is kind of crazy. Oh, hey, I kind of like it. Yeah. Let's see what we end up getting. I don't know. It's interesting. Obviously, this data comes out once a month, so it's going to be very, very boring, slow burn to watch this play out. But the expansion is noted and exciting. Now, our DXY, this is another important observation in my opinion. We broke below, briefly, our 15-year-old trend line that goes all the way back to December 2011. We've been looking at this for a little while now, because out of nowhere, the dollar just plummeted out of nowhere. And we were watching this expand. We were looking at it, wondering if it was going to get above 100. It kind of got near it, get went to 99.5, and then immediately fell off a cliff. And now it's currently, I'm going to call this a retest. It broke below this 15-year-old trend line, mind you, and is currently retesting it for support or resistance. We got resistance number 1 right here, which resulted in a big fall and a bear flag? No. Yeah, that would be a bear flag. And that bear flag broke bullish, which every time there's any kind of bearish pattern that breaks bullish, it breaks bullish usually with vengeance, like pretty hard. So we got back above our 15-year-old trend line temporarily. Our daily closed several candles below. Our weekly was the important one. That also closed below. Wow. But this is a reversal candle. We've seen these reversal candles. It's a bullish reversal candle. Is that going to result in one final attempt to stay above this? Maybe. Maybe we're looking at the final crash below in April. But May is Powell's last servitude, whatever. And then May, June is when Warsh comes in, and Warsh likes a strong dollar. Is he going to be the hawk that he's historically known to be? Or is he going to just be a puppet for the current administration and basically get the hell out of Trump and Besson's way and cut rates? I don't know. I know that he does not like quantitative easing, which, to be fair, we don't have quantitative easing still. We have something similar, but nowhere near the magnitude that we had during the pandemic. Lunar Entity said, concerned about credit spreads. Ticker works similar to the VIX. Awesome to use to spot cyclical bottoms in the SPX. Just add to new pane below chart. New pane below chart. On the SPX. Copy. Add to new pane below chart. I don't know how to do that. SPX. New pane below chart. There's nothing. You're gonna have to speak a little more English to me. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee, continue to plummet today. I call it Big B Coffee because whoever designed their logo basically just copy pasted Big B Coffee's logo, which cracks me up. Currently trading at 131.50. We do know that Vanguard purchased for the first time ever shares of MicroStrategy on January 20th. Yes, when you have SPX up, just click the plus next to the ticker in the top left. Oh. Can I do that with the not paid version of TradingView? Because that's awesome. Weekly, monthly? Okay, good to know. So yeah, this is interesting. We did talk about this. The Vanguard buy was interesting as well because I saw further weakness, and that further weakness played out. We could not get above or stay above 167, which is the point of confluence. And this big candle is kind of crazy. That one's crazy right there. January 29th. Continue to fall. This is our last ditch effort at support right here around, like, I'm going to call it 125 maybe. If we lose that, then who knows how far down we're going to go from there. Yeah, we got our bull flag, which played out beautifully, I might add. And maybe we're retesting it for like a crazy long-term trade. I don't know. It looks like crap to me right now. I don't understand why people buy shares of this at all, but, you know, I'm a crypto guy, likes learning the stock market world. Let's go to the Nasdaq next. Nasdaq, I was pleasantly surprised yesterday at the just supreme pumpage on the Nasdaq, and that got completely erased today, which was, I don't want to say the word surprising, but damn. I guess unexpected would be the right term. And I did talk about this. Our fractal still somewhat intact, the hand-drawn one especially. We talked about it, price going up, price pulling back, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, recovering and like continuing the slow grind up now. We are entering slow grind up period. I'm not saying that's how it's going to play out. This is just the idea that we're floating based on previous price action. And it kind of checks out, you know. We get these weird little humps, but over time, the price just continues to grind up. We haven't had a long-term correction in the Nasdaq since October, which even that was 1 month. 8-9%, big whoop. You know what I mean? So is it going to continue up or not? It's probably going to continue up. I'm not going to lie. We do have a confirmed green dot on market Zephyr. Not sure if that comes into play or is relevant at all. It kind of played out, actually. So let's see. Stock market, BART on a shorter term time frame. Very interesting to observe. S&P Currently 69.17. Also erased all of its gains from yesterday. That one, not as surprising or interesting. We are at like, I don't want to say rickety levels, but this thing is pretty high up. Like it's S&P is scary high up. And it's I think it's very much propped up by AI. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm scared. I don't like looking at this. It's at 6K. We were looking at this thing in 2023 down here at freaking 4. Wow, that's crazy. So, S&P 500, I don't know. I get skyscraper vibes from this today. It's kind of making me tweak out a little bit. Let's get this little plus comparison on the weekly, monthly. I'll do the weekly first. Let's do the plus. Bam. Oh, it is bam. Bam. Did it work? I don't think it worked. Oh, it did work. What? Oh, but my chart's messy. There we go. All right, how do I do this? Oh, that's so sick. I can't really adjust anything though. Can I shut the volume off? It's weirdly heavily correlated with volume. Like, wow. Look at that. That's exact spikes and everything. And then it kind of decouples a little bit. Volume drops off a cliff right there. Almost bottoms out. Interesting. Wow. Why was there so much more volume? 2008, 2009, people were selling. That's why. Look at how much the trajectory just changed. More and more people got wise to the idea of investing. You want to click add to new pane below. Oh, okay. I kind of like it like this, but okay. How do I get rid of it now? Okay, I can just do that. Add to new pane below. Okay. Got it. New pane. Bam. All right. Boop. Okay, cool. Thank you. Now I know how to do that, actually, because I wanted to do that with the ISM as well. Thank you. Lunar entity. All right, let's get some vertical lines on this bad boy. We've got spike. I can't get a clean one either. Damn it. We've got spike. We've got spike. It does actually perfectly correlate with bottoms as well. So far, at least. Well, these two are anomalies. Spike. Another spike. That was a big one. Wow. Okay, that was COVID. Pandemic. Spike and little baby spike. Interesting. Okay. So let's zoom in here now. Spreads are historic lows right now. Yeah. Huh. It's gone lower though, especially recently. 2.61 down here. 2025, 24-25 transition. Interesting. Now I'm wondering, so it seems like April is the bad, like summertime. We got August, April again, February, September. Okay. September, November, those are different. That was 2008 and 2011. September, October, September. Okay, September, October seems to be the worst historically. Damn. Was not expecting that. Okay. Interesting. All right, I'm going to get rid of these little text buckets because we don't really need them anymore. So we're basically looking for a top, a downturn, and a spike in this bad boy. But it seems like it's contracting over time. Look at that. That's a downtrend if I've ever seen one. What happens, because does it have to like really reset historically. You know, the stock market, we know that the stock market's not going to crash down to $1,000 at any point, but eventually people just no, because they're printing money, so it makes sense. If they print money and inflation just goes crazy and the M2 increases exponentially, then the stock market will increase as well. The Ponzi of it all, if you will, is that more people exist and invest more of their money over time. That's so crazy to think about, man. That's so crazy to think about. Okay. Let's see. I like that. Thank you. Thank you, Lunar Entity, for letting us take a look at that. Spreads have yet to breach those all-time lows from before the 2008 crisis. Okay. So everyone kind of calling for that. Seems like they're full of crap, I would argue. Bitcoin, looking good. Bad on the weekly. Decent on the daily. Great on the 4-hour. Currently up 1.29% on the day. Trading at $76,721. About to liquidate some more bears. We got a bunch of news for you guys today. News segment. Rob Paul posted, "No, the ISM is not everything, and it doesn't mean up only yet necessarily, but it is a necessary condition for strong crypto prices over time, as is liquidity. Liquidity will rise faster soon too, which creates reflexivity. Economy good, crypto good." I like it. Economy good, crypto good. The ISM, oh my gosh, the ISM is not acceptable. This business cycle stuff is rubbish. Macro guys are morons. Economy good, crypto good. Oh, that's so awesome. All right. Howard Lutnick posted, "For the first time in over 2 years, the United States has delivered manufacturing expansion. All thanks to President Trump. Trade policies, tariffs are working as we said, strengthening American manufacturing while reducing imports. Once again, these so-called experts were wrong." Bam. That's pretty good, honestly. I like that one. Fed's Moran resigns from White House post. Barons? Justin, Elon Musk's XAI begins hiring crypto experts to teach AI models how to trade. Really? Just in, French police raid X's office in Paris. I didn't know they were allowed to have police in France. I hope this is AI. Why does he have 8 guns? That's the silliest thing I've ever seen. Does he dual wield them? Get on the ground! We! I don't think I've ever seen that before. Please tell me this is AI. Is this real? What? This is crazy. They're like, put all of our accessories on. We're raiding the X headquarters in France. Wow. Why do they got masks on and shit too, dude? They're I don't know. They're getting weird. And they got the cool ass firefighter helmets. Like, you're not a firefighter, bro. It's silly. Elon Musk says SpaceX might put a Dogecoin on the moon next year. I believe he reposted that as well. Lunar Energy said, "It helps to layer a little bit of everything. Just my 2 cents from years of good and bad trades. You get a much better top-down view when you merge macro fundamentals, credit, and technicals." I appreciate that. Yeah, I've definitely noticed the more data I take in, the more comfortable I feel making moves at all. Even if, I'm not entirely comfortable with the move that I'm making, I still feel comfortable making moves in general. Does that make sense? Does that sound like something I just made up? I like sharing data. I feel like people don't share information. And then a lot of times when they do, people get like weirdly abrasive. Like, a good example would be Lunar Entity, you sharing that with me, and then instead of me looking at it, me being like, I don't need to look at that. I know what I'm doing. Just people get like weirdly, I don't even know if tribal is the right word. Like, they think that the way that they do things is the only way to do it, and that's perfect, and that every other way is useless nonsense. And I think that that's silly. That's how you don't learn. I never expect to be perfect, and I don't think anybody should. I think that that is what makes life fun, because if you're perfect at everything all the time, then what are you living for? I don't know. We're getting a little too philosophical. I apologize. Bitcoin 76, 737 and 76 cents. The worst are the maxis in any field, especially macro guys. Macro maxis kind of crack me up. Just in, crypto prediction platform Polymarket announces launch of a free grocery store in New York City. This is pretty cool. I believe they donated $1 million, basically. New York's first free grocery store. They're probably going to bring in so much freaking money. They're going to be able to do this perpetually. It's pretty epic. This is definitely AI, but it's fun. Fun stuff. The government is eventually going to figure out that gambling is going to be the best source of income. They're going to disband taxes in the IRS, and they're just going to let everyone gamble on everything. And everyone's going to willingly gamble. We're all going to be gambling addicts. The government's going to get a shit ton of money. They're going to open up like all these different things for free, and we're all just going to be gambling all day on their phones like Wally. It's eventually going to be Wally. We're going to be boop, 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 gambling all day, and then we're going to eat a little bit for free of our free food and our shelter and stuff, and we're going to get free electricity. We're just going to gamble all day. That's the future, man. It's like Blade Runner meets Wally. You know what creeps me out is the videos of all the old people lined up at the slot machines in the casino, and they're just pressing the buttons like zombies staring at the screen. It's crazy, dude. I can't believe that shit's real. It's like eerie. 12-hour looks phenomenal for Bitcoin, does it? Who the hell looks at the 12-hour, man? I can look at the 12-hour times 2, the 24-hour. I like that I only talk shit when it's something that I have to pay for. I can look at the 4-hour. It's just the 12-hour like on like a divided by 3 basis. You know what I mean? I also love that I was just talking shit about people talking shit, and now I'm talking shit. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Comedy, guys. Comedy's dead. We got to bring it back. Bitcoin falls to the lowest price since President Trump's 2024 election victory. G Immortal sets up JJ. What's going on, G Immortal? Cheers, my friend. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee because I feel like I need more caffeine in my body. Oh, delicious. Okay. Bitcoin fell under 73K. 285 million liquidated from the crypto market in the past 60 minutes. That was 8 hours ago. Lunar Entity said the 12-hour has a highly divergent print. Yeah, I can't do the 12-hour. I refuse to pay for TradingView. So I believe you. I like to look at the half day for early trend signals. I mean, I totally understand. I was just messing around. The one that cracks me up the most, I think, is when people talk about the 3-day. And I don't know, it just seems arbitrary and silly to me. Because those are the people that insist that that's the only one that to use. And they go, well, the reason why it's so important is because that's what they use. That's what the market maker uses. Because nobody else uses it. And I'm like, oh, okay. How's that working out for you? I'm sorry. I'm a big bully sometimes. U.S. House passes government funding bill to end shutdown. Yay! Disaster averted, they said Tuesday. It ended up being Tuesday. Who'da thunk? Nancy Pelosi closed her trade, sold $500,000 worth of PayPal stocks. When? Last month. And PayPal today is down 20%. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. President Trump signs a bill to officially end U.S. government shutdown. The government shutdown is officially over as of 6 hours ago. Lunar Entity said 3-day is mixed. If I want to zoom that far out, the weekly or 2-week is clearer. Right. Yeah, eventually I feel like it just gets so convoluted. You know what I mean? That makes sense. I would rather look at the weekly at that point. 3 days seems like it's just too arbitrary for me. My brain can't get over that hurdle of like, why would I look at this? Marty Party posted, it's starting soon. ADP will pay you in stablecoin on Solana. This is huge, huge news. I think this is really freaking cool. And, I mean, I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference, but I like the options. I do. Because I would do this. I would do this in a heartbeat. And the fact that it's getting closer and closer, when I can pay my rent in crypto, then I will say we have reached adoption. When I can pay my rent with my bags, then we've reached full adoption. You know, anything from that point forward is just cherry on top. I want to be able to pay my rent or my utilities, even better. My rent and my utilities with crypto. I know I can swipe my Coinbase card and it'll convert it to cash or whatever, but if I could just pay them through, even if it's just a stable coin, I don't care. If I could do a transaction with my wallet into my rent account, whatever it may be, and pay my rent that way, I think that would be awesome. Lunar Entity said, on the 3-week, we bounced off the 50 exponential moving average. Very nice. Marty Party posted a stablecoin mint 2 hours ago, another 750 million USDC issued by Circle Treasury on Solana. Very cool. Now the institutions will buy all the crypto. I genuinely, the idea that they're getting you to buy gold and silver to buy so that they can buy crypto is like psyching me out. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but when I heard that theory, I was like, oh shit. That like made me take a step back for a minute. I was like, whoa, what if that is what's happening? I doubt that that's what's happening, but I do think that there's a coordinated effort to get us to sell our crypto at the bottom here. Whether that be the bottom or whether the bottom's another 20, 30, 40, 50% down, I don't care. Prices are low, especially on altcoins, and whale buying is through the roof. It's higher than it's ever been in history. And whales have a lot more money than me, so I'm going to do whatever the hell they do. And if I'm being Trojan horse, then so be it. That's why I only play with money and I can afford to lose. Gold surges 5% back above 4,850 an ounce, and silver surges 11% back above 85 an ounce. Silver is now up 20% from its low in just 12 hours. Trading like meme coins, man. Breaking, India's stock market surges over 5% after the US and India reach a trade deal. The deal includes India to stop buying Russian oil, India to reduce tariffs on US to 0%, US tariffs on India lowered to 18%, India to buy $500 billion in US products. Hell yeah. Tom Selleck-Scott said, them printing more stables is bad because means stable dominance is going up. I disagree that it's bad. I think printing stables on Solana could be people on-ramping into Solana. Or it could just be Solana stablecoins being used elsewhere. There's a million reasons why they could be printing stablecoins. I also see, and I've talked about this a little bit, I feel like I talked about it more months ago. I haven't talked about it as much recently. Yes, Lunar Entity said, I stopped looking at stable dominance after they started buying treasuries. I think stablecoins are going to increase exponentially. I think it's going to increase so much that we're no longer going to be able to use it as a metric for like, well, is the cryptocurrency bull market going to happen soon? Are people going to trade stablecoins for crypto? I think that because stablecoins are probably going to achieve adoption, what we consider crypto adoption, long before cryptocurrency actually does, people are going to be using stablecoins for groceries and everything else, payroll, and we're going to be down here watching Bitcoin do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and it's not going to correlate at all because stablecoins, I think, are just going to go crazy for forever. And, you know, Bitcoin's going to continue to be Bitcoin, whereas stablecoins are going to be like cash. Does the M2 money supply correlate with gold? Maybe a little bit. I would actually be interested in looking at that. But I think stablecoins are eventually going to be treated like cash. And it's going to be nice for the possibility of adoption because people are going to be using them every day. So I think crypto is eventually going to reach that. There's going to be that stablecoin adoption, and then the cryptocurrency user interface is going to converge with that stablecoin adoption. And because instead of being like, oh, I have to convert this to some stupid stablecoin, that's such a pain in the ass. I don't feel like dealing with that. Crypto's too complicated. We're going to get out of that realm, and people are going to go, oh, I can just send my USDC to Coinbase and buy some Bitcoin? Or like, oh, I can just swap my USDC on my bank app for Bitcoin? I think we're heading there. But I think before that happens, your grandma's probably going to be trading stablecoins in her bank account without even knowing it. Okay. That's why I think we're not going to be able to look at stablecoin dominance for much longer because it's going to dominate everything. It's going to essentially become the US dollar. I don't know if that's true. It's just an idea. Elon Musk says SpaceX is going to put a literal Dogecoin on the moon, potentially as soon as next year. When Elon Musk, this was from January 4th, 2021, SpaceX is going to put a literal Dogecoin on the literal moon. He said maybe next year. That would be pretty cool. Honestly, how cool would it be if he just did that with like a little lunar lander of like a frickin' a little Ledger wallet with Dogecoin in it? I think that'd be sick. He could probably get Ledger to like fund some of that as well. I think that'd be so cool. Like, which hardware wallet wants to fund this endeavor? Ledger, Trezor. You know, I'm sure that there's some new up and coming one that has a bunch of funding from some VC. That actually sounds like fun. A little lunar lander. Little mini lunar lander. Lunar Entity said one negative outcome is the destabilization of local foreign currencies via ease of access to USD through USDC. Yeah, I do like the idea of it being used to strengthen the dollar, though. Honestly, the idea of de-dollarization doesn't bother me, but I feel like the transition would be so rocky and uncomfortable that it's going to suck ass when it happens. All I picture is Blade Runner in the future, or if anyone's familiar at all, my favorite show of all time, Firefly. The like cyberpunk future where like people like speak Chinese and there's just like every language of advertisement everywhere at all times, and there's probably a million different currencies that people use. They're called credits at that point. You know, it's all interchangeable. I think that there has to be some standard, and obviously we're on the US dollar standard right now, but maybe it shouldn't be denominated by a country. Maybe it should be a global currency. And I understand that the US dollar is the global reserve currency, whatever, but it's called the United States dollar. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. Gold is just gold. That's why those are a lot more attractive as something to like measure our currency value in. Lunar Entity said it's great for us, but you can see why the rest of the world reacted very negatively. Oh, 100% for sure. But they shouldn't devalue their currencies. God, I'm such a patriotic asshole. I'm sorry. Okay. Gold prices extend gains to plus 7% on the day, and silver prices extend gains to plus 13% on the day. Gold is back above $49.50 per ounce, and silver's back above $87 an ounce. Let's freaking go. That was 17 hours ago. It's probably happened once or twice now since then. French police are currently raiding X's office in Paris for a cybercrime probe into algorithm issues and data extraction. Damn. They were so pissed at the change to the algorithm, they literally raided the office. I wish I could do that. Another major impact is... Okay, hold on. Lunar Entity said another major impact is the potential for USDC to finally pressure China to revalue the yuan lower. They're risking a strong deflationary trend. Damn. Right now, they're exporting their deflation. Interesting. Stinky Scrublet said Jewish fake out? I don't know what that means. Like somebody said that they were a Jew and they're actually not Jewish. They're like, haha, I fooled you. Okay. Next we've got U.S. student loan delinquencies are exploding. I wouldn't pay for that shit either. The number of student loan I want to be honest for a second. I told you guys my student loans got forgiven by the Biden administration. And that's because my school got shut down and my credits were non-transferable. It was one of those situations. So I should have been forgiven. I filed for that in 2012. They said probably 3-4 years later, they were like, nope, I never paid a dime. I paid $0. Let's say 2012, 3-4 years later, let's say it was 4. That's 2016, 17, 18. I think it got forgiven in 19 or 20. So for 3 or 4 years, I made 0 payments. I was charged 0 interest. I was supposed to be making payments. And at that point, they should have started like garnishing my wages. They didn't do any of that. I don't think that they actually try to get money out of people. They just expect everyone to pay. We're slowly learning that like all of our systems are entirely trust-based still, and it's kind of crazy considering the amount of technology that we have. I'm like, I was not surprised at all when Elon evaluated everything and was like, wow, our shit is so out of date and clunky and stupid, because I've witnessed it already like 100 times. It's kind of crazy to me. Lunar Entity said, if you print trillions of dollars and then tell everyone it's still the same value, you will eventually burst into flames. I disagree. That's where we might disagree. I think that inflation is a result of greed. I really do. I think that people mentally, they're like, oh, there's more money now, so I can raise the price of my product by 5% and no one will notice. And then they do that because there is more money floating around. People will just be like, oh, we'll just pay for that. And then eventually everybody else starts doing that too. And then we look later and we're like, oh shit, everything is 5% more expensive now. When did that happen? That's my opinion. That is literally just my opinion. I understand inflation when it comes to like commodities and stuff. Like if there's a shit ton of Beanie Babies, they're not going to be as valuable because they're not as rare. But we're not collecting dollars to put on a shelf somewhere. It's just a means of trade. Food is not deep value, but it's also useful. You need food. You need it. Shelter increases in value, probably because of greed, honestly. It costs the same amount of labor to build a house today than it did however many years ago, but the cost monetarily of that labor has gone up substantially. I don't know. We're getting so distracted. I'm so sorry. Obviously, inflation is real because it happens. I just think that the reason it happens is completely different from what we are led to believe. But there's really no way to prove it one way or the other. U.S. student loan delinquencies are exploding. The number of student loan borrowers that are severely delinquent is up to a record 3.62 million. The number of federal loan recipients 271 plus days past due is now 8 times higher than the pre-2020 average. This comes as the grace period ended in June 2025 when missed payments began appearing on credit reports. Meanwhile, the percentage of student loans transitioning into 90 plus days of serious delinquency is up to 14.3%, an all-time high. This significantly exceeds the 2013 peak of 10.5% and 2008 levels of 7.5%. The student loan crisis is accelerating. I'm gonna attempt to start a revolution here. Every single person out there that has a student loan but does not have a job in that field, if the whatever they're called, the counselor that brought you on told you, oh, you're basically guaranteed a job when you get this diploma, you're guaranteed a job within a year of graduation, or anything remotely similar to that, contact an attorney. You probably have a genuine, legitimate case against the school, because the counselors, I forget what they're called, they're like recruitment officers, or it's creepy, dude. They have some crazy predatory tactics to get your ass to sign a fucking FAFSA application and give them money. It blows my mind that that's allowed. But it's fine, it's whatever. Young, impressionable kids getting thrown into a $60,000+ debt crisis while there's no jobs for the for the weird ass degrees that they offer. Lunar Entity said, if we're heading for statecraft, I fully expect the government to begin intervening in the entry-level job crisis. Interesting. What are they going to do? I see, my whole thing is, and with Trump, I don't think we're ever going to get anything even remotely close to this. But I do truly believe that we should have something in place for AI. Because every single company is going to go, oh, I can take this this desk job that normally has a person behind it, and I can just replace them with a computer. I'm just going to do that. Get rid of the person, replace them with a computer. I think that the government's going to have to step in and be like, for every 2 employees that you do this to, you have to keep at least one of them. You cannot get rid of all of your employees. You can get rid of half of them. Replace them with AI. I think that there should be something in place like that. But there's never going to, because that'll stifle growth, and who knows, you know. I'm sure that we'll figure out a way to replace those jobs along the road. And you know what? Maybe it'll free up a lot of people to do what they want. Problem is, again, the transition between then and now is probably going to be painful. Lunar Edge said, the only thing that worries me about this LLM craze is the active hallucination I've witnessed from AI, even when utilizing tokens. What do you mean, active hallucination? Can you elaborate, please? I do enjoy this weird exchange between Sam Altman. Is that his name? I forget his name. The creepy OpenAI guy, and Jensen Huang. Because Jensen seems like a genuine cool dude, and Sam Altman is just like, we're gonna look into other chips because he said mean things about me. He won't give me that much money. Lunar Entity said, my gut tells me that at some point, all of those errors from hallucinations are going to float downriver. Oh, you mean like them just being wrong about shit? My favorite one that I've seen so far is the Google thing. The Google Gemini, when it first got released, or whatever, the Google AI overview, people were able to, like, basically spam bullshit data on the internet, and then because Google scrubbed that area, they were telling people to eat pebbles. The Google search was like, how many pebbles a day should I eat? And then Google AI spit out, like, you should eat at least 4 to 5 pebbles per day. It was like, what? And it was citing some goofy articles that people, like, published in an effort to try to fudge up this AI search, which is hilarious. JShear 2.0 said, yo, sup family, what's going on, JShear 2.0? Cheers, my friend. Happy Tuesday. Overall, I normally hate Tuesdays. Tuesdays are the worst days. Today was a great Tuesday. I had a wonderful day. Cheers, guys. That's weird. It feels weird saying that. Okay. Bitcoin looking good here. 76, 749. Alts even better. A lot of green in this market. The only red we got is MicroStrategy, and that's because it kind of sucks. Gold and silver up as well. Come on. Somebody pressed resume. The game was paused for a considerable period of time, but we are a go for launch. Kobe SE letter posted, U.S. condo prices are plunging. Condo prices fell. I love that they're like plunging. And then they go, condo prices fell 1.8% year over year in November. That is not a plunge, bro. What are you talking about? This $100,000 condo is now $99,000. Cisco finally took out its 26-year all-time high. Damn. Okay. This follows 1.9% year over year, September, October, biggest annual decline since 2012. Now, more than 10% of condos have estimated values below their most recent sale price, according to Zillow. Falling demand and rising homeowner association fees driven by higher insurance premiums and maintenance costs have been behind the recent weakness. By comparison, single-family home prices continue to move higher, up 1.1% year over year. I never understood a condo. I never understood a condo. I don't know, what's the difference between a condo and an apartment? Like, can you eventually own the condo? But is it on rented land? I don't know. I've never even really tried to look into it. It's just always confused me. But kind of happy to see the prices drop because I always thought condos were like bougie, like a better than you version of an apartment. Americans own more stocks than ever. U.S. household allocation to equities as a percentage of financial assets is up to a record 47.1%. This percentage has surged to 16.6 points since the 2020 pandemic low. Since 2008, allocation to stocks by Americans has risen 142%. This is also 8 percentage points above the 2000.com bubble peak of 38.7%. At the same time, household cash allocation is around 16%, near an all-time low. U.S. households have never been more bullish. People finally caught on to the fact that anyone can invest, and it's excellent way of building wealth for your future. PayPal stock, PayPal, extends its decline to minus 19% on the day after reporting weaker than expected Q4 2025 earnings, now down to its lowest level since April 2017. I got a question. They were doing good, like kind of expanding into crypto last bull market. Did they expand their offerings, or do they still only have Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, ETH, and What was the other one? Litecoin. Is that all that they have besides their little stable coin? I don't know. I thought the stable coin was a good move, but clearly it's not working out that well for him. The odds of Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire this year surged to a new high of 72% after SpaceX acquires XAI per Polymarket. 2026 is going to be a historic year on many fronts. Wow. What do you think he's going to do with all that money? Because so far, I don't know. I feel like he's one of the few people that seems to still continue to progress. Usually people hit a peak, plateau, and then eventually fall off. Elon seems like one of the people that continues to do better every time. He's got a perpetually increasing ROI. Breaking. U.S. markets extend losses. This was 10 hours ago, with the Nasdaq 100 now down minus 1.9% as AI stocks fall. Tons of volatility everywhere. Capitalize on it. Honestly, there's a lot of FUD around AI, which leads me to think that it's probably going to do better for a longer period of time. People don't usually call the tops on these things. And by people, I mean the masses. I don't think during the 2008 financial crisis, before it happened, I don't think people were like, there's going to be a financial crisis. No one had any idea. People were euphoric. They were tripping out. They were, oh my gosh, we got to buy everything. This is amazing. And then something broke and it crashed. That's what happens. It's never, ever people being paranoid. Oh no, it's going to happen any day now for like 3 years. And then it eventually crumbles apart. That don't happen. That's just not how things work. Lunar Entity said Cisco fell 90% from its all-time high in the 2000 after the dot-com bubble, after they got busted for planting dark fiber in the ground to justify infrastructure capex. Now they're leasing the same fiber to data centers 26 years later. I don't understand. After planting dark fiber in the ground to justify infrastructure capex. Underground dark fiber involves burying specialized fiber optic cables 3 to 4 feet deep, horizontal directional drilling to ensure durability for security, reduce long-term maintenance, and processing. Okay, so it's actually just a thing. Interesting. Fell 90% from its all-time high after they got busted for planting dark fiber in the ground to justify infrastructure capex. So they were doing that unnecessarily, is what you're saying? I guess, what was the bust? U.S. markets, yep, we read that. Okay, Nvidia stock extends its decline to minus 5% on the day as AI stocks pull back sharply. Lunar Entity said dark fiber was what they called the fiber they were planting into the ground for telecommunications infrastructure build out in the 90s. Yes. But you said they got busted for planting dark fiber in the ground. Like, what was the busted aspect of that? Were they not supposed to be doing that? You said to justify infrastructure capex, but were people like, well, you don't need to do that or something like that? They kept planting fiber nobody was using and told everyone how insane the demand for telecom was. Oh, okay, I understand. So they were just going crazy with the construction. They're like, oh my gosh, we need all of this. Everyone's asking for this, and they were like, no, they're not. So one of the local internet providers here is Frontier, and I worked for them for a very short period of time at doing sales, actually. Shadiest job I've ever had in my entire life. I did zero business with them because I saw how messed up the practice was. And I got my free clipboard and I pieced out. I quit. It was a commission-based job anyway, so. But I got my clipboard and I pieced the fuck out. But part of the sales tactic was to tell everyone that we had put in fresh fiber optics up to their local node. And we didn't. We didn't do that. So I'm watching, as I'm being trained, the sales guy just tell all this bullshit lies. He's like, yeah, we just finished installing fiber. Like, we finished installing fiber maybe in like downtown Detroit. But we're like an hour away from there. There's no fiber in this town that we're in, trying to sell fake internet. And door-to-door sales, by the way, where we live at least, are illegal. So we were going there under the premise of checking on our existing customers, knowing full well, because we had a list, None of these people actually have service with us. So we know for a fact these people do not have service with Frontier, and we're going there to check on our current customers to make sure they're good. And they're like, oh, I don't actually have Frontier. And we're like, oh, well, now that I'm here legally, can I tell you about our service and sign you up? It's crazy. Blew my mind. I learned the shadiest sales tactics in the world, which I literally, in my office, we get people for Comcast business every once in a while. And it's always two people, which means it's one guy training another guy. And they do the same exact thing, same tactic. You look for something in the room, you pinpoint it, you're like, oh my gosh, you do architecture? I love architecture. My dad's an architect. Oh my, I love dogs. Is that a Pomeranian? My mom has a Pomeranian. It's the creepiest shit, dude. Like, creepy as hell. Blew my mind. Lunar Entity said we ended up utilizing maybe 10% of that fiber in the 2000s. It was gruesome. Man, fiber in the 2000s was probably crazy. I remember dial-up. Dial-up was insane. Having to wait. I remember I was downloading what I thought was a Family Guy movie. The first Family Guy movie off of LimeWire. And you had to announce to the family, you're like, nobody touch the computer or answer the home phone. I'm downloading a movie. It's going to take 3 days. That's not even a joke. And then 3 days go by. 3 days go by. Download finished. I get home from school, download finished. I was like, yes. Because I had been waiting to watch this movie. I opened the file and it was porn. I was so pissed. I was so mad. There was like several gigabytes, I think, because it was an hour and a half worth of movie, but pornography. I was very mad. I wanted the freaking Family Guy movie. Lunar Entity said sales department is pure evil. It really is, dude. It blew my mind. Nothing has ever been as eye-opening as working in sales at that stupid internet company. And their service is awful. It's so bad. I had them hook up internet at my house one time. The one guy was definitely stoned out of his mind, had no idea what he was doing. The other guy, there was a line worker that showed up with the guy in the van. So 2 vehicles. They had no idea what they were doing. They left a piece of equipment, like this crazy thing that you plug into the wall to turn on the internet. It looked like a gun, but it had like buttons and stuff on it. It almost looked like a scanner thing. And I called them nonstop for like 3 weeks. I'm like, you guys left a piece of equipment at my house. They're like, no. I was like, what are you talking about? You did. You hooked up my internet and they left something here. And they're like, no. I was like, okay. And then I waited. Finally, I looked this item up. It was like $1,500. Or like a couple grand. I was like, oh shit. I'm gonna sell this. So I sold it on eBay for like $500. It was a pretty lucrative deal. So I essentially got free internet for like however many years because that paid for it. Oh man, that was crazy. I tried to return it though. I don't know if maybe the guy lost his job. Who knows? It was crazy though. It was so insane. Lunar Entity said share price fell from 82 to 8 for 2 years. Wow. That's like 90% decline. Whew. Stock market probably lost their minds. Anything over like 3%, the stock market's in shambles, which kind of cracks me up. Chipotle's stock falls 11% after reporting another sharp drop in restaurant traffic. Interestingly, I kind of want to go out to dinner. It's been a while. This one was cool. Do you guys remember X put out a $1 million reward for the most read article for, I think, January? They awarded the winner. It was some random crypto guy. Sick article. But the Kobayashi letter won second place, which is really cool. So I wanted to share that. I thought it was neat. They posted, "This is surreal. We are honored to win second place in X's article competition. A special thank you to our followers on X for being part of the Kobayashi letter and supporting us on this incredible platform. Thank you, X, for this award of a lifetime." So that was pretty cool. Tens of thousands of creators. I thought for sure it was going to be the one that guy wrote about, like, I don't remember. I just remember the picture was like an astronaut. Trueflation posted energy prices took a dramatic dive over the weekend into Monday. Natural gas is down 26% on Monday, the steepest one-day decrease since 1995. WTI plunged 5 to 6%. Brent tumbled roughly 6%. The warming weather forecast slashed expectations for heating demand, which had been elevated by a historic U.S. storm that sent daily natural gas spot prices to their record highs of 30.72 per million BTU. Current prices as of February 3rd, WTI crude futures 61.75, Brent crude futures 65.97, natural gas futures $3.23. Given the short-lived spike in energy commodity prices, we don't expect a significant impact on inflation, as not all price increases are passed through to consumer prices. The temporary increase in natural gas inflation of our utilities index has had minimal impact on Truflation's headline U.S. inflation index and did not offset other rapidly cooling categories of goods and services. How is winter treating you? Are you heating a lot this year? Let us know in the comments below. I'll tell you what, I was on my job site today, and my kerosene heater, my torpedo heater, is not working. So I brought 2 little electric heaters. They're little. They're like this big, like little 10, 12-inch fans. And I had them plugged into an extension cord, where I also had another extension cord off of that original one running my radio. And I worked all day, and then I come back, and I noticed the extension cord, instead of sitting on top of the snow, has like kind of made a perfect little like snake path. And I was like, huh, that's weird. So I unplug everything, I start winding it up, and then I get to the connection, and I disconnect it, and all the black rubber was on one of the plug parts, and it was melted. I was like, oh shit. So don't run 2 electric heaters on one extension cord. It's probably too much, unless you got like some heavy duty shit. Definitely did not like that in the cold though. Bitcoin getting a little red here on the 4-hour, up 1.13% on the day still, $76,622. ETH up 2.07 on the day, 2,280. Sol up 1%, 98.87. Get above 100 is going to be a big deal here. Total 3 up 0.82, 760.12 billion. I really think we're going to see a crazy spike here soon because of the ISM. I really like gold and silver though. Look at gold perfectly recoupling with that fractal. It's so satisfying to look at. Congrats on the correct market consensus. Today, U.S. CPI inflation is 0.98% based on real-time actual price data collected by Truflation, Polymarket, Kalshi, Coinbase. How about a prediction market settled with our data that doesn't shut down when the government does? Ooh, damn. Today's JOLTS has been canceled due to a partial government shutdown. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics won't be releasing the December jobs openings and labor turnover survey today, or the January employment situation report this Friday, even though the shutdown is expected to be resolved shortly. The BLS is also responsible for the headline U.S. inflation, CPI, and for import and export data. I find it coincidental that the government shuts down right when jobs data is about to come out, and they're like, oh, we can't release jobs data at all now. That seems incredibly suspicious to me. Am I crazy? Yeah, responsible for the headline U.S. inflation, CPI, and for import and export data. The previous record-long shutdown affected federal data collection and appropriation, resulting in no labor and inflation data for October and only partial data for November. Today, markets were expecting 7.2 million job openings for December, and only slightly up from November's 7.146 million. For Friday's January employment situation, the market consensus priced in an unchanged employment rate at 4.4% and an increase in non-farm payrolls from plus 50K in December to plus 68K in January. Truflation's independent employment data for December, collected from multiple sources, put non-farm payrolls at a worse level, with minus 18,000 for November and plus 17K for December, and total employed persons remaining around 143 million. With all the data collection issues of the past months, there is renewed awareness around the need for more independent metrics, and perhaps also in innovating and automating some of these outdated federal data collection methodologies. I agree. If we're going to utilize AI, use it in the government. I don't obviously want the government making decisions for us, but for data collection shit, why are we paying a person behind a desk? I'm sorry. Some of these jobs are just silly, man. They're wasting our tax dollars. President Donald Trump has signed a funding bill into law, officially ending the partial government shutdown. 1.2 trillion funding bill to extend government funding. This was a brief shutdown lasting about 4 days, far shorter than the record 43-day shutdowns, about 10%, from October-November 2025. It still affected the Bureau of Labor Statistics, of course, which provides crucial economic data that fuels Federal Reserve policies. All of this week's BLS labor data releases were canceled or delayed, likely to be rescheduled. Next week's crucial CPI release appears to remain on schedule. Most government agencies are now funded through September 2026, with the exception of the Department of Homeland Security, which is funded only about 2 weeks. This sets the stage for the next round of negotiations in February. Did the 2-day lapse in funding really need to delay the Friday employment situation report by the BLS? It seems every day is crucial if you collect data by hand. Damn, I love that. I love that so much. Every day is crucial if you collect data by hand. For real, 1 day, man, 1 day and the whole system crumbles. It sounds like we got a broke-ass system. Truflation. Breaking. The Federal Reserve Board of Governors Stephen Moran resigned from his White House role as chair of the Council of Economic Advisors as of February 3rd. His dual roles have sparked debates on Fed independence, and he was on unpaid leave at the White House since joining the Fed in September 2025. Source: The Barons. Interesting. He is incredibly bald. Damn. That's a lot of maintenance, man. Like, my hairline is effed, and I shaved my head a long time ago, but keeping up, like, with the skin-tight shave, not for me. Not for me. I don't got time for that, man. MSB Intel posted, big. Gold is now more volatile than Bitcoin, according to Bloomberg. Damn. Coinbase has filed a complaint with the Australian Parliament, alleging major banks are denying service to crypto firms. Interesting. Bitmine is currently sitting on roughly $6.6 billion in unrealized losses tied to ETH price moves. That is terrifying. This one's interesting. AI agents can now rent real people, isn't this prostitution? Through a new marketplace called Rent a Human. That's kind of hilarious. Over 63 million in crypto liquidated in the past hour. That was 9 hours ago. Update: precious metals surged today, with gold up 6% and silver rising 12% in 24 hours. Bloomberg analysts previously noted that Bitcoin has become less volatile than gold. That's crazy. Nevada Gaming Control Board files civil enforcement action against Coinbase over alleged unlicensed wagering in Nevada. Interesting. Glassnode data shows Bitcoin's realized profit-loss ratio nearing 1, a level historically linked to market capitulation. Good price to buy. Not financial advice. Trump reportedly signed the Consolidated Appropriations Act to immediately reopen the U.S. federal government and fund most operations for the rest of the fiscal year. Nasdaq listed Tian Rizhang? I don't know. Plans to acquire up to 15,000 Bitcoin from an unnamed investor in an equity-linked deal alongside an AI and crypto-focused strategic partnership. Interesting. An unnamed investor. I wonder who that could be. Bitcoin's Puel multiple remains in the discount zone, signaling minor pressure and historically favorable accumulation levels, while suggesting the broader bearish trend may continue. Vitalik Buterin says the original vision of L2s as branded shards of Ethereum no longer makes sense, as L1 itself is scaling. Didn't he just say yesterday that it wasn't? He proposes L2s should focus on unique value adds beyond scaling and support maximum interoperability with Ethereum. Interesting. Today, CFTC Chair Michael Selig says the crypto market structure bill is going to create a gold standard for crypto markets in the United States. He looks very young for somebody in the government. I thought we only hired them 80 years or older. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan says crypto winter started in January 2025, but was masked by ETF and DAT flows. He adds, we're closer to the end than the beginning. I agree. I agree with this man. What is that? Chief Information Officer? Is that what CIO stands for? Lunar Entity said institutions are driving his opinion on L1 as well as their focus on his expansion. Michael Saylor posted the rules of Bitcoin. 1, buy Bitcoin. 2, don't sell the Bitcoin. I love it. Think about this. This is great. Banks control physical gold. Always have. This is what I've been talking about. Now they're pushing gold is the real safe haven, harder than ever while Bitcoin crashes. Why? Because they can't print Bitcoin. They can't vault Bitcoin. They can't gatekeep Bitcoin. They need you scared of digital gold, so you run back to the gold they control. The game is obvious once you see it. And then I suggest that underneath this, maybe they're doing that to sell you their gold and buy your cheap Bitcoin so that they can control the new financial world order. I'm just saying. Altcoin Season 3 in theater soon. This is Bitcoin weight against altcoins. I really, really like this chart. You have the big fat spike, secondary spike, third baby spike, bottom explosion. Big fat spike, secondary spike, third baby spike, bottom, then explosion. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. And then within that explosion, you could have a little spike, retrace, continuation. But I do like it. I like what I see. Is that good enough? Good enough data, maybe? Bar chart posted US dollar is dumped over the last week at the fastest pace in at least 2 years. First time home buyer median age hits 40, a new all-time high. Wow. That's crazy. New house prices have dropped below existing homes for the first time in history. That's also crazy. I refuse to believe that. Breaking United Nations, UN could run out of money by July, warns the Secretary General. I don't understand why that matters. I thought the United Nations, they have like military and stuff. I thought it was literally just like a HOA for I thought it was like an HOA for the countries, for like the world countries. This thing looks badass. Little personnel carrier. John Deere forms a golden cross for the first time since October 2024. The last one sent shares soaring 32% over the next 7 months. Honestly, if John Deere gets involved in robotics, absolutely. I like Caterpillar's involvement in robotics. I do like that a lot. I like Caterpillar. I don't know if they're publicly traded, but Toro Dingo, we use them at my work, and they have a mini skid steer, mini track machine that has a telescoping boom, and I have seen that thing on so many flatbed trailers the past 12 months. It blows my mind, because we've been using that thing for years. We've been using those machines for years, and they are just now starting to gain like mainstream adoption, and I think it's long overdue. Full-size skid steers just aren't practical. People have small backyards sometimes. So, I don't know, it was interesting observation of mine for my profession. SanDisk has now closed at all-time highs in each of the last 5 trading days. That's freaking crazy, dude. That is so crazy. Silver ripping. Hell yeah. This was 16 hours ago. Stock market says goodbye to greed. That was 14 hours ago. AMD earnings are today. Shares are up slightly year over year, and volatility is expected. Whether you're bullish or bearish, trade the volatility with whatever. Daily AMD 2x. Okay, so that's a sponsored thing. Chinese yuan hits strongest level against the US dollar since May 2023. Ooh, interesting. Nasdaq QQQ survives the 100-day moving average test again. Absolutely incredible. Let's freaking go. Breaking Bitcoin plunges to lowest price since November 2024. Wow. Advanced money destroyer AMD is back. Look out below. AMD took a big fat dumperino. Oh. Stock market 6 hours ago now has the most amount of fear this year. All right, 41. Silver, this one's really interesting. 4 hours ago, Silver Trade posted thousands of investors are posting screenshots on X showing they closed their Binance account. Binance reportedly halted withdrawals. Not a crypto bro, but isn't this exactly how the FTX collapse began? I believe that Binance noticed they found an issue with their withdrawals, and they have since fixed it. So that is technically FUD, but something to keep an eye on. Lunar Entity said technically they can print Bitcoin via perpetuals. I looked at the on-chain metrics, and without perps, we'd have been near 300K back around the 120K price point. I believe it. I really do. So when FTX was happening, nobody really talked about this either. I found it really interesting that everyone was like, "Oh, we need to publish our what's it called?" They're like, "We need to publish our reserves," and they never really told who held what. Like, all they showed was like, Coinbase has this much Bitcoin and this much ETH and this much Cardano, or they didn't even. I don't even think they held Cardano. It was just like weird assets, and like that's all that they showed. They're like, Coinbase holds all of this. Meanwhile, their actual listed assets were like, the list was in the thousands, hundreds or thousands. They held so many coins, and they only listed, or they only had like 10 or 12 in their reserves, and it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, is this like what they hold for their customers? Because it kind of seemed to me like people would deposit money, and then on paper they would say, yes, you own Cardano, Ondo, and Stellar, but in their books, they just took your money and bought Bitcoin. That's just what it looked like to me from an outsider's perspective. I never looked in depth into it, but it seemed weird to me. It seemed really odd when all the reserve data was being published. Nvidia is nearing a deal to invest $20 billion in OpenAI as a part of its latest funding round. This is the $100 billion that everyone's been talking about back and forth, and the weird FUD that's being spread around, the misinformation, and like Sam Altman's weird ass and frickin' Oracle for some reason being like, the deal between OpenAI and Nvidia doesn't affect blah blah blah. It's like the weirdest shit. Like, no one said anything. That would be like your buddy coming over to your house, and you guys are just like hanging out, watching the game or whatever, drinking beers, and he just goes, "I'm not cheating on my wife. I would never cheat on my wife." And you're just like, "What? Did someone say you cheated on your wife?" And he's like, "Well, no, but I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to make sure that you knew." That's what Oracle did. That's what OpenAI did. It's getting weird. It's getting weird on X. Like, no one asked. Nobody asked. They're like, "We love Nvidia, and we're going to continue to work with them." And everyone's like, "Okay, we had assumed as much." It's just getting weird, man. Lunar Entity said Sam Altman and Peter Thiel were friends at uni. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, that's it for the news segment. Do we do a portfolio update? Let's do a portfolio update because it's getting entertaining at this point. The 1K to 10K Grok portfolio is down $617 or 61.7%. Best performer is Solana, down $42 or 42%. Worst performer is Aptos, down $80 or 80%. Next, we've got the meme coin portfolio, currently down down 69% or 699. Yeah, $699 or 69.9%. Nice. Best performer here is Doge, down 108 or 54%. Wow. Worst performer is Giga Chad, down 181 or 90.5%. Then we've got the narrative portfolio, my favorite, and what was once the best performer, down $267 or 53.4%. Best performer here is Tau, the Tensor, down $33 or 33%. Worst performer is Fetch, down $69 or 69%. And last but not least, we've got the knife catching portfolio, previously known as the perfect entry portfolio. Turned out to be horrible entry. I believe this is maybe perhaps outperforming. We've got, it is down 56.7% or $567. Best performer here is Chainlink, down $36 or 36%. Worst performers, Avalanche down $71 or 71%. Damn. And that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin up 1.18%. Is the pump going to continue, or are we in for more carnage? I'm thinking pump right now. My feeling is pump. I'm feeling a pump vibe. Obviously, I'm not 100% positive on that. Oh, that wick down actually wrecked Gourmet Brands crypto winter. So far, I think everyone's... That's not true. Dream Tanks is down at 53K. Okay, so Dream Tanks so far for his crypto winter guess is in the lead, and then the bear market, like 12-month long bear market guess. Whoops, what did I just do? So far I'm in the lead for my 12-month long bear market guess. I think Tishu's the only other one that has a bear market guess. Yeah. So, Dream Tanks, as of right now, in the lead. I have not seen him in forever. I hope he's doing good. Yeah. Other than that, the market is as quiet as it can be, with everything increasing in value, except for the DXY and MicroStrategy. Time will tell. Lunar Entity said, memes finally lower than Grok. What a battle. Is it? 1K to 10K Grok portfolio, meme coin portfolio. Oh yeah, they've reached that convergence where, you know, it's kind of like it's leveraged in both directions, the meme coin portfolio, which sucks because like you can be the greatest investor in the world and you know, you put $10 into the stock market or into like blue chip cryptocurrencies that go up forever. And then, you know, Joe Blow puts $10 into some freaking butt coin. And, you know, your bags are doing really good over an extended period of time. They don't pull back as much. You're feeling really good about it. Joe Blow he got rich and then he had nothing. Got rich, had nothing again, and he got rich. And he maybe got lucky and sold up here. And, you know, you're here over on the boring, like, freeway. And Joe Blow's on a roller coaster. The volatility is definitely like 2 to 4x, but in both directions. It's leveraged to the upside and to the downside. Lunar Entity said, if credit spreads break out, we could see a bear market in asset similar to 2000 to 2002 when spreads enter a bull market. That would suck. I would honestly, I think I would hate a prolonged crappy market, but it would force me to pivot my attention elsewhere, which maybe would be a good thing. There's a silver lining. Maybe I would start a business, a successful business, because of that or something. Who knows? But I do thoroughly enjoy the YouTube thing, so I would definitely continue to stream every day and maybe even integrate the business pivot into the streams. I don't know. Find a way to make money or just DCA on the way down. Talk about everything that we talk about already right now. All right, we got 9 votes. I asked you guys, what is the gold silver pump telling us? 34% of you guys said safe haven rotation. 33% of you guys said manipulation. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, trying to swap out their gold for your Bitcoin. 22% of you guys said bull trap, and 11% of you guys said people are just late to the party, man. They're just joining the fun. Guys, Bitcoin's chilling. Up 1.03% on the day, 76,552. I'm going to call it an evening. Lovely Tuesday for us. Let's see what the market brings for us tomorrow with the ISM coming in bullish, gold and silver on the mend, and the broader market maybe healing. I don't know. The fractal does what the fractal wants. As always, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Spread the word. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before April. We're doing really good. You guys have been killing it, so I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Tuesday, and good night.